everyone, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Serial, and Sigilite of the FLG. And I'm Seth, the Mad Dog, your competitive correspondent and producer for this evening. Kicker, how have you been doing?
Well, we're missing Nick, and it looks like I'm sitting way too close to the camera in this perspective, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. It's all right. Everything's fine, people.
I can fix you.
Guys, if you are listening to our show, please consider watching us live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when you get to see a normal-sized Kicker next to a normal-sized Seth. We are a live show, so chat is super involved, and we love you guys. And tonight, we want to talk to you guys about hobby stuff. We'll get to that later on. But watching the show, you also get the cool visual elements. I know, Seth, you're trying to scramble and multitask like nobody else right now, but if possible, can you bring in my hobby progress?
I can do that. I think.
Check this out, guys. I have been hobbying. Yeah, there we go. So it's nice to every now and then do a little palette cleanser. I've been painting hordes of infantry. I am a guard player. I like my infantry, and I decided to finally paint some characters. And I know they're still infantry, and they're roughly the same kind of colors and stuff. But it's fun to paint something in a different position. They have different weapons. I got some power fist in there, so that was thoroughly enjoying what I've been doing basically. All weekend was just having way too much fun painting these characters. One of those is that like limited edition Catechin lieutenant guy. I don't know, whatever. He's pointing. He's got binoculars. So I've really enjoyed that. Also, guys, I've been playing a lot of 40K. I mean, I played a game just the other day. I've got a game coming up tomorrow night. Like, I am really enjoying 10th. Now, good news, people. I finally won my first game of 10th edition. I was like, geez, it was about time. It was about time. I have been playing relatively, I guess, weak list, but I've been having fun, and I finally won. And winning does make it more fun. It's like once you win one game, you're ready to go play your next game immediately. Like I'm ready. Seth, what about you? What have you been up to?
I have been. I've been getting back on the hobby horse because, if you play an army long enough and you paint forever, you end up kind of reaching a point where you don't need a whole lot. But I have been working on a few new things. So this was earlier work in progress from earlier today. I needed to add runt herders to my Gretchen because before I didn't need those. So I got a couple of those. I've got a few big tracks because big tracks kind of popped up in the meta when all the WTC lists.
Is that a Forge World thing?
It's like a Forge World transport. It's a little bit more expensive than a truck. And so I was like, well, I know the guys that made that list. They think it's good. I'll give it a try. So I actually am going to try to get an in-person game this weekend. So I needed those painted up, and then just like a few other oddball characters here and there. I've been working on them, so just been kind of hobbying on that front, and then playing a lot of Diablo 4. I've been cruising around. And this past weekend, Kicker, I saw Barbenheimer.
Yes. You have to give me the full rundown in the nerd news.
We'll save that for a few minutes. But Kicker,
we should tell people Nicky D is not here tonight, guys.
He is traveling. He cannot be with us tonight, so you're stuck with just us two schmucks tonight.
That's okay. We'll survive. We'll survive. Let's hop into the news section, right, guys? So we'll talk really fast about GW news. They've talked about this new epic. It's called Legion Imperial. So we got some core concepts here. Seth, do you want to give a rough overview of the rules of this new? I'm just going to call it new epic. I'm sorry. I'm calling it new epic.
Legion Imperialis. I was going through it today, and it's actually it's very interesting. So their army, like they talked about their army construction, and you pick a formation, and the formation is made of multiple detachments. And think of it like you would think of a game of 40K, wherein like a detachment has specific units that go in it, and then a formation is made up of multiple. Sorry, now someone's saying in chat audio's not working. If anyone else in chat could confirm, I have little bouncy bars on my screen that say it's working. Kicker.
Yeah, guys, tell us if it's not working.
Works. It might be you, Nicholas, but if everyone else says it's not.
Yeah, raise your hand if you can hear us, people.
I can't see their hands, Kicker.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, well, assuming people can hear us, I'll keep going. Yeah, it was him.
It was him.
Anyway,
we love you, chat. We do love you.
Well, I just want to make sure this was actually working. It's been a hot minute since the old Mad Dog's been behind the.
Nick, save us. We miss you.
But anyway, so it thematically it's kind of cool because that means like the detachments that you've been playing in 40K, those are multiple ones of those shoved together to make a formation.
So one army is multiple detachments in Imperial. Okay, cool.
And then they went through their turn structure, which I think you and I could have a lot of fun with this, Kicker. So there's 5 phases in a turn, and each player, the first phase is the order phase, and each player acts in each phase. So we each would issue our orders, and then we would review. Then it's initiative, and then movement, and then combat, and then resolution. But each one of those phases, both players act. So it's not like you go, I go. It's kind of alternating activations. And the fun part is the order phase is secret. So we're secretly selecting what all of our different commands we're going to give all our different units and detachments, and then we're revealing them, which is sort of like X-Wing when you're kind of selecting initiative. I haven't played X-Wing since like first X-Wing edition.
Jeez, man.
But it looks really cool, so I'm excited about that. They simplified the rolling component of it in terms of weapons. You just roll to hit. If you hit, it's a wound. Your opponent takes a save. So it's just a hit roll. But they kind of got around that because you would think, oh man, I just take the highest volume shots I can, which is like anti-infantry. They put like keywords on those weapons, like if it has light, it can't hurt a vehicle, period. So they kind of have made some ways to kind of delineate different weapons into going into different targets. So overall, I think it'll be a lot of fun. It definitely feels like once you get it going with it, it's going to be kind of a quick game to play. Very beer and pretzel-y, which is exactly what I'm looking for in my gaming repertoire right now. I've got 40K that I'm fairly competitive with, but having something a little bit more chill to throw on the table and smash into each other seems like fun. So I was excited to see that. Kicker, did you see the organized play kits coming back?
We got to talk about this, guys. So local stores, both GW and I guess independently owned, will be getting these store play kits, which basically have a little trophy in it, some swag, but basically it's a way for there to be turnkey solutions for your local store to have a match play event with the trophy and everything. So that's really cool, right? I mean, so encourage your local store to be part of this, because if they don't want to get a trophy themselves or whatnot, you can get this cool store champion thing. And it's nice to
they had that in the last edition too. So I'm glad that they're bringing it back, because I was worried it would be a one and done scenario.
Yeah, and look at this from I don't know, a greater perspective, guys. Like, this just represents how Games Workshop really is embracing and focusing on events and tournament play. Like, this is it is becoming a core part of their philosophy, I guess, which is really cool. So that gives me as a tournament organizer, and Seth as a competitive player, a lot of hope there for the future. Let's talk about pre-order items. We've got the Knight Lancer. Yes, that is a Horus Heresy, but also 40K model. This giant, brand new Imperial Knight Lancer. It is gorgeous. It's the big spear one with the shield. It is freaking amazing. It is the one knight that I really, really want to buy right now. Because it I don't know, it looks.
Are you gonna paint it in earth tones?
Yeah, I would paint it in earth tones. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it because my wife has cut me off. She's literally taking my credit card away, and I'm not allowed to buy anything else right now, which is probably a good idea.
Okay.
We have a baby coming, so we're not trying to spend more money on toys. But we've also got the new Skaven. These are the Scarbits Plague Pack. This is an Underworlds kit, but Underworlds kits usually work for Age of Sigmar. This little squad here is really kind of cool to see more of these rat men. That's another beloved faction that hasn't gotten a full army revamp in a while. So maybe we have something on the horizon. Who knows? But if you're a Skaven fan like Nicky D, our producer, you're gonna love these models. Nerd news time, guys. We've got some news. Seth, you got to take it away with Barbenheimer. Barbenheimer, sorry, Warhammer. It's in my mind. First of all, chat. Did you see Barbie? Did you see Oppenheimer? Which one did you like more? Seth saw both. Seth, take it away. Which was your favorite of the two? You got to pick one. You can't pick both.
Oh, if in terms of favorite, Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, I think was a better film. It did not make you feel good.
No.
Because it was about the guys that made the nuclear bombs and how they had like a lot of remorse about that, and then how the country sort of prosecuted them for being communist afterwards, even though they weren't, and it was just not really nice, and sort of destroyed their careers. Anyway, it didn't make you feel good, but it was an interesting, because it's very historically correct from everything I've been reading. So it was interesting to kind of see that story.
Was it visually entertaining? Because I know, Seth, you went and saw it in IMAX version, right? Like, you were into the.
It was definitely the thing that kind of blows your mind when watching that film is they have gone on record saying there are 0 frames of CGI in that film.
Yeah,
it is 100% practical effects, visual effects. So it was really cool to see. We had a good time with it. And then so we did that like Saturday. The nearest IMAX theater is like an hour away from me, so it was hard to do a double feature because it was
Yeah.
a 3-hour film plus an hour drive each way, into a different time zone. So we ended up doing Barbie the next day. Barbie was fun. It was a good time. It was funny. It tries to have a couple emotional messages at the end, but they also try to have them all at the same time, so it gets a little muddled, but it's still fun. It's definitely worth the watch. Both these films they're like literally the polar opposites on the spectrum, but they were a lot of fun to watch. So I'm glad.
What's chat saying? It looks like chat's definitely going for Oppenheimer, right? I mean, come on, guys. That is the
really weighed in yet.
Okay, chat, jump in if you feel like it.
To Dicky.
Okay, hey, what's up, Dicky?
Dicky was mostly complaining about my producing skills, which I pointed out. I am not practiced at this. This is I am the fill-in role.
There we go. Yeah, this is just
Kicker. I hear that you finally finished The Witcher.
Yeah, I caught up with The Witcher. The last 3 episodes or 4, I think it's 3 episodes of this season were released. The last of the Henry Cavill series episodes, just utter shit, like just total crap. I was just like, oh, wow, not ending on a good note there. So that's that. But I have breaking news for you people. What the hell? $1 million for a Magic card. This just happened. Post Malone bought the One Ring from Lord of the Rings, the One Ring card from Magic the Gathering for a cool $1 million. So that is a small piece of paper with an awful lot amount of money. I honestly don't know how to process this. I'm not trying to judge people because we spend a lot of money on our hobby, but it's just like, what the hell? Like, seriously, $1 million? Like, that's just too much.
I mean,
Seth, you played Magic at one point.
I guess it would be relative to your, wealth. $1 million, $1 million to Jeff Bezos is like, oh, I found that in my couch.
Yeah.
$1 million to you and me, we're like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. So,
It's just, I know Magic is popular and it's I guess an expensive hobby. There's a lot of, people playing the trading card, stock market there, but it's just, that's a lot of money. Chat, tell us what you think. Do you want the One Ring card? Seth, apparently it is the only one, right? Did I read that correctly?
It was the serialized one of one.
Yeah, 101. So there we go. We're going to hop into the event news really fast, guys. Finally, yes. Finally, we have the room block. Hallelujah. Yeah, there we go. The room block has been released. If you haven't seen it, we'll be doing a newsletter tomorrow with all the information. We posted on some of our social media platforms. We're trying to share it. It's attached to all the player packets, which are slowly getting posted to the web cart. But yes, you can get your room block. Now, let's talk about this because this is important, guys. The Rio was bought by a new company. The new company is totally renovating the hotel rooms. Not all the rooms will be renovated by the LVO. Our room block has several options. Most notably, you have an option for a room in the old, design. Let's just call them
the rooms that you've been in the last few years.
Yeah, the kind of shitty, crappy rooms.
If
you can get those, yeah, right. You know what you're getting. Whether you're going to save a few bucks. The other room is slightly, and I'm talking like very not much more, like $20 more per night.
Okay.
Brand spanking new. It seems like a no-brainer. You want the new rooms. The other cool thing about the new rooms is that they have a full-size sofa that is another bed as well. So say you've got 3 buddies and you want to share that room, you each get a full-size, comfortable bed, cool. And it'll actually be cheaper than getting 2 people in one of the old rooms that is at a lower price. So consider that. Pro tip, you got to read the description when you go to the room block link because there's not like a fancy. I tried to get the Rio management to say, hey, like just label it new room and shit room. They wouldn't do that.
Well,
unfortunately,
I can't believe they wouldn't label their rooms as shit room.
Yeah, I tried so hard, man, and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it, or like cheap ass room and like brand new luxury room with all the features. They wouldn't make it clear.
The marketing term is budget room, kicker.
Yeah,
budget.
There we go. Right. So what they did do though is in the product description of the room description, you can see it. It'll say it's slightly larger. It has the brand new fixtures. It has the full fancy TV. It has the pull out sofa thing. So just read the description. Like I said, it only averages, if you look at it over the period of the event, it's only about $20 more per night for the nicer room. So please consider that. Those rooms though, there are when that block sells out, they're not going to add rooms to that. So if you are looking at
if we get rooms, it'll probably be the budget rooms.
I'm Seth. I'm telling you straight up, all Frontline Gaming staff, and that includes all of our judges and TOs. Yeah, you guys are getting the just like me. Me too. We're all staying in the nice original cozy Rio rooms because yeah, there we
Yeehaw.
are.
It's all right. We'll have fun
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. All right. Let's talk about SoCal because SoCal, this is going live. We were going to go live today. We'll probably go live tomorrow.
Pew,
I
pew,
wanted to
pew.
get some more packets in there and stuff. Yes, there's the SoCal Open logo. As we discussed, it is an orc because orcs won the past 2 years. So we are leaning into orcs for this year. Will orcs take it? Who knows? Seth, realistically, like tomorrow, could orcs go and win a super major, like a 200 plus person event? You
I
don't
mean, who's
don't
the
don't
pilot?
no, irrelevant. The best. I
I
mean,
think
like,
with the right pilot, there are some options out there. It's
okay, but it's
certainly not easy, and you're going to get a little pairings luck.
well.
But I think it's possible.
SoCal will have, of course, 40k champs, Age of Sigmar. We'll have Kill Team. We'll have Marvel Crisis Protocol. We'll have Star Wars Legion, X-wing, you name it, we got it. 40k though, we are expecting that event to grow quite a bit for this year, just because we've seen a lot of excitement from that community. So get your tickets later this week. Seth, I think it's time for our signals short.
It is, and since we don't have our lovely producer, it's my job to ask the question, Kicker, and we can both answer it. Are you
We can
ready?
both answer. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Kicker, what 40k vehicle are you most interested in driving?
Oh, geez. Okay, chat, please also chime in because we would like your opinions. I have not seen this question until just now, Seth. So I am going to go with it's got to be a tank of some. It's got to be I was going to say Lehman Russ because that's the old school tank. But at this point, I kind of want to drive a Dorn.
You
I
want to
like
drive
that
a
it's a little bit
Dorn?
larger. It's got more guns on it. So I'm going to say one of the new Dorn tanks. I mean, to be honest, man, I've always just wanted to drive like an Abrams tank, like just a normal U.S. military tank. So to drive a sci-fi tank would be better. What about you, Seth? What is your
Clearly,
vehicle of
the
choice?
best vehicle to drive. The correct answer is the Orc Shock Jump Dragster.
Oh, oh yeah. Okay.
Because one, it's a little dragster. Two, it teleports through the warp. I might
Yep.
die, but it'll be a hell of a ride.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Oh, hey, I don't know if this counts, but the jump packs that all the Space Marines have, I'd like one of those. Like that'd be fun. I'd like to give one of those a shot. I know it's not really a vehicle,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
come on, guys.
now we're stretching.
Yeah, right.
But
That'd be fun. We got anything interesting in chat? Anything we're leaving? We're forgetting
Reaver
about?
jet bikes or GSC ATVs. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So the ATV I can't get behind. That's basically a normal ATV, but the jet bike, hell yes, yes, the
I could
Reaver
see
jet
that.
bikes.
I could get.
No,
I
like
could get on board
like
with
one of
that.
the Shining Spears jet bikes. Those are fast and
Yeah, but
fancy
you
and
got to
all
be an
that. Yeah,
Eldar then.
you've got to be an Elder, and I'm probably too short. Like I'm too short to pilot one of those.
I
Right?
don't know.
No, you
Eldar,
must be this tall.
little shorty space elves, maybe.
Seth, I think we need to talk about something very important to us. We use these all the time.
Yep.
This is when we go to our hobby station. We bust out our favorite tools. This episode we got to talk about them. This is critical. Seth, why don't you go into it? Why don't you explain people
So
what we're
Kicker
talking
and
about?
I decided, we're hitting the midsummer break. People tend to take a little bit of time off in the summer. We've been doing some hobbying, both of us, and we thought it would be good to kind of go through some of the hobby tools, our top 5 hobby tools for each of us. Kicker, why don't you start us off with your number 5 tool?
Yeah, and guys, it's important to know like these are tools that we're thinking that can help us get our army ready faster, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not just about speed, but you want to enjoy this tool, right? It's got to be something you're happy to have on the table or whatever. But like I know Seth is getting ready for his next tournament. Frontline Gaming's got several tournaments in the works. I myself I got a tournament in 2 weeks. So like I'm trying to hobby faster and faster. And that's kind of where this came from. It's like, what are the things that I constantly see myself going to get myself ready? And Seth, number one, straight up, it's my trusty hobby knife. This is one of the newer versions of the GW knives, but the blade is like just dull enough where I know how much pressure I can apply without slitting open my thumb. This particular one, and I don't know if you see the image, this is the newer version of the
Yep.
GW Citadel, whatever, hobby tool knife. It's amazing for so many reasons. The dial to tighten the blade is where you would hold it by the palm so you don't accidentally loosen it up ever when you're using your index and forefinger. The particular I guess shape of it is super ergonomic. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it is the most enjoyable knife I've ever used to cut. And I'm not just saying this is like it's Games Workshop and like it's a hobby specific one. I've used the high-end X-Acto ones, all that nonsense. But for like just general like hobby slicing and dicing, this is my go-to. What about you, Seth?
So my number 5 pick is a little bit on the extreme side. It's a 3D printer. I got my
Oh,
3D printer, I guess almost 6 months ago, and it has been a very useful tool. Adding bits to models
can we
that
get a name, by the
yeah.
way,
So
just because I
that
know
one,
Pat wants
the one I got is the one in the picture here. It's the Elegoo Saturn 8K 2.
Okay.
I think they've released new models since then. But it has been, when the hobby progress in the beginning, I was like, oh, I have a truck, or I have one big track, but I need two more. I could order them from Forge World and wait, and then honestly, building that thing was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Or I can find an STL. I can print these two out. So it does take a little bit of investment. Like, this is not the cheapest thing, and you can go cheaper than I went. I tried to get something that was a little bit higher, and because I had the knowledge that it was going to be kind of future proofed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's been super useful. If I decided I needed power claws on my bike knobs, and so I didn't have them in my bits box, so I printed off some arms. I printed off
And bear
tokens.
with
I
me.
printed
Like,
off
is it basically
blue
plug and
dials.
play? Do you just plug a laptop into it and you download a file and say print this, or is it? Do you have
So
to be tech savvy? Like for us
you have to be
people,
yeah,
let
it
it.
has to be a little tech savvy. So you have a
All right.
pro. So what I have is like a program on my desktop called Lychee, and that's where I design. I take the models from a different file called an STL. I put them in there. I arrange them on the plate, and then it puts the supports on and slices it, and then you load that onto a jump drive and take that down and plug it in and hit print. There was a little bit of calibration set up, but it wasn't bad. So it is. I am definitely not the most tech savvy guy. And through a few friends giving me some advice and a few YouTube tutorials, I've been able to pick it up and run with it. So I
Cool.
think it's a very handy hobby tool. If I know a lot of guys that they have a much smaller one than this one, or they have multiple friends go in on one,
Oh, that's
and
a good
there's
idea.
one
Yeah.
person in the hobby group that has the printer and prints off stuff for people. So it's an option. I know it's a little bit higher end than a hobby knife, but for me, I thought that was a very good tool, and I'm glad I've added it to my arsenal. Kicker,
Yes.
what's your next one?
All right. Next one. Rattle cans of primer in all the colors. And I know there's other options to base coating your army, but this just speeds it up. I get a primer in, and my army colors are usually based off of what can I get a good quality rattle can of primer in, right? Because then that'll be the first coat that my army is. So if I'm painting Seraphon like I'm doing right now, I'm going to go with a color that's going to be green, or I'm going to actually use that Wraithbone right now
Mm-hmm.
for contrast. But like all my guard, that's all Xandri dust based, right? It makes it
That's
so
why I
easy
see
to
1, 2, 3 cans of
yeah.
Xander dust in that bin.
There are 3 cans of Xandri dust in my tub there, but I've also got like lead belcher when I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
AdMech. I got my lead belcher ready to go. So I know it sounds the GW stuff's a little pricier, but it
I see some
really
Army
is
Painter
solid.
hider down in there.
I do have some army painter back there, and there's a couple other ones at the bottom of the bin. But like that is a go to. Is I've got all the colors in all my primers right there, so I can just go. Even I'm just painting like
Yeah.
I don't know. I was doing the missiles on my Manicore for the last week. Just boom, they're all black. Done deal. Do a little lead belcher on top. It's good to go. So I highly recommend getting yourself some cans of primer. Now I know, like we said, there's other options, but this is super easy. You don't have to like
Yeah.
clean it and just pull it out of the tub.
It's
Go.
ready to go.
What about you,
Fire.
Seth? What is the
What is
number?
it? Point and shoot.
Point and shoot. Yeah.
I'm always down for some good quality brushes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I usually use Army Painter brushes. One, because I can get them from the FLG site, and two, if I'm out at an event and I want to support a store, most stores are going to have these in stock. They're a little less expensive than the GW brushes, and they make a large variety of tip sizes, and I like that they have a little bit of a triangular handle. It fits nicely in my hand. I try not to go too expensive on my brushes because I beat the crap out of my brushes, so I then don't have to feel guilty about throwing said brush out. So I'm pretty tough on my brushes, but a good, there's a nice medium between like, Hobby Lobby $1 brushes and GW $20 brushes. I think there's a nice medium in there, and I feel like these Army Painter ones are right there in that happy medium.
And honestly, I think the Army Painter ones are, I mean, like, not the best. GW's got great products. I don't think the brushes are one of them. I really have struggled to find success with the GW brushes.
Now, Kicker, I know you have a strong opinion about brushes.
Yeah, so like you, one of my favorite hobby tools are my brushes, but I'm talking about more of my high-end brushes. These are my Artist Opus brushes. I swear by them. Now, Seth, I do spend a lot of time taking care. I massage my brushes with conditioner, right? They go with my wife to her spa days, right? Like these things are put on a pedestal at my home, and yes, they are pricier, but I really. I really swear the quality of my painting has increased by increasing my brushes. Really, the fine tip ones. I mean, for like just doing some base coats, you can get away with anything. But like for some of the more edge highlighting kind of stuff, I've been really happy with Artist Opus. There's other brands out there that are really good, but Artist Opus was at LVO.
Yeah,
I scooped
I
up some
checked
of
them
these. I'm
out.
like, wow, yeah, these are the ones. And Artist Opus has a nice little presentation. They all come in a nice wood box. You know, they come with some what is it? Some fancy conditioner
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So I'm a sworn believer. Oh, and hey, guys, the guy that owns Artist Opus, he does really good videos too. Of
yeah.
course, he's using his brushes, but even if you're not using his brushes, the videos done by Artist Opus are amazing. Like really good stuff. If you're looking for some other people other than the standard people you've already been looking at. Seth, have you tried an Artist Opus brush at all?
I haven't had a chance yet. I
Yeah,
LVO was busy, so I didn't get a chance to sit
LVO, they
down
were
and
busy.
try them while we were there.
Their brushes, I mean, you're absolutely right though, Seth. They are significantly more expensive, and because of that, like I make sure I take care of them. It's like
They're
it
your
is a
children.
chore.
They're not your children.
They're not my children. They're not my children.
They're
I like my kid more.
they're your
I
brush
can be like,
children.
yeah, they're my brush children. I mean, but like, you know, I don't know. It's one of those things that I guess I just get into that routine of okay, after a week of using these, I take them all and condition them and whatnot and
Yeah.
whatever. I let them dry.
All right.
Seth, what about you? What's your next one?
My number three is dropper bottles. Now,
Oh,
a lot of paints are coming in dropper bottles anymore. Army Painter comes in dropper bottles. Monument Hobbies Pro Acrylic comes in dropper bottles. Duncan Rhodes paints come in dropper bottles. But when I started in my painting journey, kicker,
yeah.
there weren't nearly as many options. So a lot of my stuff is GW product. So I have a lot of GW paints, and I've stuck with those colors because I want to be able to replicate the formula. So I have bought dropper bottles to put my GW paints into. So these are ones that Army Painter makes, but you can also find different ones on Amazon. I have found that to be super useful because it lets me, one, if I'm moving my paint from a pot to a dropper, it's an opportunity to kind of thin the paint and make the entire batch the same
Oh, that's a good
consistency.
idea.
So I
Yeah.
thin it out, so it's all, so now it's coming straight out of the dropper bottle already thinned.
Do you
And
use lamb medium or do you use water to thin it?
I
Like,
usually use like I'll switch it up, but it's usually um Army Painter Flow Improver, I think
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
not
Good,
not
good.
their thinning medium, it's Flow Improver.
Yeah, for their
Anyway,
airbrush
but
stuff,
yeah,
right?
so but basically now that dropper bottle is the same consistency, and I do it with all of my paints, so I can have that repeatable consistency. And also I am just horrible about like wasting a bunch of paint. So if I open the pot, then I get too much on the brush, then I'm trying to clean it off the brush, and then the pot's drying out, and then my consistency's changing. So this just really kind of helps even it out for me, and I really enjoyed that.
Very cool.
What about
I
you?
do like
What's
that.
your next one?
Okay, don't judge me, but this is legit. The Citadel water pot. Do you know what this? Have you seen this
I have one.
over-engineered
I
cup?
have one.
You have one. All right. This
Yeah.
thing is totally over the top,
Hmm.
but
Yours is well used. I like it.
yeah, that's my second one, man. The first one had to get burned. It was nasty. No, these are these you see them at the GW stores, Warhammer stores, whatever. It's basically a cup, a glorified
Yeah.
cup, but it's so much more than that. So this particular one made by Games Workshop / Citadel is it's got a little spot to hold your brush. So I love placing my brush there, right?
Hmm.
It's got a ridged bottom and sides, so it makes cleaning the brushes way more efficient when you're,
Yeah.
mixing them
Yeah.
there. Like
When
I
you're
swear,
cleaning
my
them.
brushes clean so much faster because of that. And also the way it's designed is so smart. It's wider at the base, so it's
Mhm.
really hard to knock it over.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
good.
yeah, I love this stupid thing, and I will not paint without this. Like if I travel, I bring this damn water pot with me. It's so unnecessary, but I love this stupid thing so much. If you don't have one of these, get one. Like they're like $5. They're one of the things that GW like made that GW makes that's very affordable and totally something that most people should scoop up. It is weird though, because I live in New Orleans where people literally throw us cups from Mardi Gras and stuff. Like I don't need more cups, but this one is, like I said, it's the entire thing is designed perfectly. Seth, I know that you probably have something a little bit more exciting than
I couldn't not put it on this. It's an airbrush, and I cheated. I said airbrush and an airbrush booth because I have a kind of just a basic run of the mill workhorse airbrush, a Badger 105, and I had that for a while, and I had to use it in my garage, which made it difficult because my garage is not climate controlled, and that certainly affects how the paint flows. And then I want to say maybe a year ago or so, for Christmas, my brother-in-law got me the airbrush booth, and now I was able to move my airbrush setup into my hobby room, and it kind of vents out a window, and that really helped because now I'm in my hobby room. I don't have to worry about climate control. It's always the same climate. And importantly, my airbrush is right there next to my paint station now. So it's really made me a lot more comfortable trying to get, I used to just use the airbrush to base coat. Now I can base coat and I can maybe do a little color blocking with it. Or if I want to try to do a little glow effect here or there. So it's really kind of given me that tool right at my fingertips to kind of play around with and try some new things, and I've been happy with the results. So I think it's definitely if you're into it any period of time, I think this is like the airbrush is probably about $100 and the boot's about $100 and quality air compressor is about $100. So like it's not a cheap setup, but once you've got it and it's there and then you can use it and maintain it, it's a thing I use. I literally on every model I paint starts with an airbrush. So
it's funny, right? Because we both spend our money in different. Like I spend my money on paint brushes. You spend your money on the airbrush.
I spend it on a brush, technically, an airbrush.
It's still a brush. It's still a brush.
Anyway,
cool.
Kicker. Your number one thing, your most important top hobby tool.
And the way I'm like the thing that's extremely valuable to me personally, and that I use every single time I paint and hobby. I have to, like I just have to. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna think this is stupid, but it's the paint pot holder. It's the little weird triangular shaped thing.
That thing has seen some use.
Yeah, I don't know if you're looking at the photo right in there. It is covered in all sorts of paint and grime, but kind of like the water pot holder, I guess the paint pot holder really prevents messes from happening. And I move extremely quickly when I paint. I try to go quickly. I try to get stuff done quickly. And I don't know, before this thing, I probably lost a pot of paint, or I guess shade, really, inks, shades.
Yeah,
once every few weeks. Yeah. And a huge mess. I mean, I've lost so many pairs of pants from just knocking a bottle of shade over and it just right off the desk onto my lap. So since then, I've never once knocked over a pot. This thing is a godsend. It is amazing. It's another one of those like little cheap things, but it just stays there on my desk. I don't use a pot of paint unless it's sitting in that thing. Mm-hmm. And I've been very successful in not making more messes, despite the thing itself being covered in droplets.
It has sacrificed itself.
It is. Have you got one of these, Seth?
I do. I have a different style one, but yeah, I use it. Mine has like a little hook to hold the lid as well.
Oh, fancy. Wow. Geez. So bear in mind though, man, right? Like we all have different, I guess, techniques. I move very quickly. I'm not clumsy. I move quickly. And when I'm painting, I just knock over shit. So this has been invaluable to me. So what is yours, Seth? What is your number one hobby tool?
A wet palette.
Ooh, okay. Good one.
Yeah. So I for the longest time didn't use wet palette, just used like a paper plate or a paper towel, and it goes back to what I was talking about with the dropper bottles, which was consistency. You're putting paint on a surface. If it's not a wet palette, it's going to dry out, so your paint's going to thicken over time. So then you're going to have to re-wet it and re-thin it out, and then maybe it's too thin and now it doesn't apply the same, and so your coats are uneven. So this has really helped kind of, again, get that consistency in terms of paint consistency, in terms of flow off the brush, which makes my results repeatable, which is how I learn and how I improve. So I had a kind of DIY one for the longest time, which was like a sponge and parchment paper and a piece of Tupperware. And then Army Painter came out with this thing, and I picked one up. I think it was like $20. and it was like 2 foam sheets, and I think it's like 50 of the pre-cut parchments. And I've been very, very happy. I'll probably run through, a couple of parchments a week when I'm really painting. But it's just nice to have, and also it's like because it keeps your paints moist. If I'm going back and realize I forgot to put red on a model and I haven't had my didn't open my red up for the last 2 hours, there's usually still some red on that palette that's still wet and easy to work with.
Nice.
And then the top part is a nice organizational area for my brushes, so it's just kind of all a one-stop shop there. So I super love the wet palette. I think it's another tool that you need to learn how to use. Once you learn how to use it, it's kind of something, again, I can't do without if I'm painting.
Seth, we did poll the Frontline Gaming community group earlier today. We asked them, we put a few, options in there. And then
we have a live update from chat.
Oh, let's hear it. Live
figured
update
out why you don't use a wet palette, because it's so
why don't I use a wet palette? What is the reason?
Because it's so moist where you live in Louisiana.
Yes, exactly. I don't need a wet palette. I live in a swamp.
I live in Alabama and it still dries out, people. So like, I don't know about that.
The natural humidity keeps my paint all nice. Yeah, that was good. That was probably accurate too. I do not use a wet palette, and I've never had real issues. So we did ask the community what they thought of their, what their own personal hobby tools are. Hobby Knife got a lot of votes, right? Somebody add clippers, good clippers. I mean,
good quality clippers.
Yeah, I mean that's a valuable investment right there. But then Airbrush, Seth, quite a few people. I'm just reading the results right here. Airbrush got quite a few, votes. I threw in a commission painter as an option because a good commission painter is is a good tool to have on your side. Somebody can lean on. But what I was really surprised is I saw dental picks on here. Robert, I guess that's for. Do you have an idea what dental picks would be used for, Seth? Is that for like green stuff, kind of?
I would imagine it's for like green stuff and cleaning off models.
Okay.
Yeah, I've used them before when I've like taken a model that's been painted and stripped it, and you get the paint out of the little crevices.
Ben Bruce mentioned normal paintbrushes, kind of like you, Seth, like not over the top expensive ones, not cheap ones. And you're right, just good pair of brushes. This is great. Justin Hall said sheer panic painting the week before an event. So just pure sheer panic.
That is a hobby tool. The calendar slowly running out of time. You must finish this model.
Yeah. And then of course, one of your Orky kin decided to just take it over and write or this be an Orky poll now, and ended it there. So yeah, guys, quite a few options. I do think though the airbrush is something that I'm seeing more and more and more people swear by. So Seth, I think you've chosen wisely.
Thank you.
Should we jump into what's happening on the network? What's going on with our friends?
Yeah. So what's going on around the network. I've been keeping an eye on all of the media friends we have. The professional casuals are back producing some YouTube content. They've been doing some live streams, kicking off a Hero Quest campaign, the old Hero Quest board game. So that was really cool to see. Our audio friends over on Squadcast, which is Dakota, the Kill Team TO for a lot of our events, they're back, and this week they did a show on how to run a kill team event. So if you're kill team curious and you want to run an event, that's a great thing to listen to. And then Party at the All Points, they put out an episode this week, and they're up to their usual shenanigans. I mean, I've listening to the episode, they're all over the place, but they're always a good listen, so they're fun. Check them out.
Love it.
Want to get into the community hobby progress kicker?
Yeah, guys, if you've got some really beautiful, stuff, even if it's not that beautiful, but something you're proud of, share on the Frontline Gaming community page every Wednesday when we do kind of a work in progress Wednesday post. We love to see what you're doing and if it's really, really worthy or it's just interesting or whatnot. Cool conversions count, right? Cool conversions count. Color schemes that are just novel or interesting. Seth, I, or Nicky D will pick it and talk about it right here. So now, Seth, we've got, that is nice.
Do you think this is worthy? This is
100%.
Adam Peterson's Gilliman work in progress. And he's when you look at Gilliman up close, you realize how much gold trim that SOB has. So hats off to him for getting all that gold trim done. So and then he's got all that blue highlighted up. It's looking really good, and it's only work in progress. So he's still got more to do. So I'm excited to see where that model ends up.
Our next one, Seth, is one that you're gonna love.
Oh yeah. This is Devo's old school battle wagon. He posted up. Check out that. Oh, sorry, my screen's doing weird things. That's probably a little bit, maybe a little bit bigger than a current truck model, but that is the old. I think that's second edition battle wagon model. But that thing is It's a blast from the past, Kicker.
I've never even seen one of those, man. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, Kicker.
Very cool.
You've met Dean Pritchard several times.
Yeah.
Tyranid enthusiast. He's upping his hobby game for best painted with a multi-level display board. And I can't remember what sea creatures I haven't called his Tyranids yet. So we're gonna go with sea cucumber themed Tyranids.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
whatever Nemo hides in.
What he said is he's just been painting rocks, which I mean technically yes, he is painting rocks in the form of foam core, cave and cliffs and stuff. So excited to see that. Always cool to see these big multi-level display boards out on the tables at events.
And display boards are not required to win best painted, but they certainly help. I mean, it's just a fact of life. When you have a beautiful army on a beautiful display board, it sells it, man.
It really like it brings home the because the base, everyone says like the base is the frame of the model, but that's like a tiny snapshot of the frame of the model. When you get that display board around it, then you can really start to envision where is this, what is this army doing, all that fun. And then I wanted to give a kind of final shout out to our boy JC Watts. He is working on some Ultramarines. He's got a Repulsor Executioner here, but JC is gearing up for the Battle to End Alzheimer's, which is this coming weekend in, I think it's Westminster, Maryland. So if you're in the area, checking them out. It's a great charity event. I went last year. I couldn't, unfortunately, make it travel-wise this year, but it's always a good time. And JC, as you can see, is leveling up his painting skills. He came to ACO. He was very excited to get a lot of painting feedback from our judges, so he's putting that to use here and upping his game with this Repulsor Executioner.
That's cool. That's cool. And guys, that's actually a good point. Is if you come to our events, our judges are happy to help. Give advice. We've actually partnered with the Hobby Goblins, who are really, really good, and they can always give some advice too if you're trying to level up your painting skills. Seth, that's it, man.
Yeah,
we did it.
Yeah,
we did it.
Final thoughts for the night, Kicker?
Everyone, please, if you're watching us, talking to us right now, Seth, please, you, Nicky D, everyone, tell your mom and them. Everyone, wish me luck. Tomorrow, I'm going to battle, and I'd like to win a second game.
I was like, what do we wish him?
I really want the dice to be in my favor. I feel like I have a really good list. I've been practicing. I know my rules. I've gotten 10 underneath my belt.
Right at the bell, we got us a super chat from Toilet Dice saying "Evening, gents."
Thank you, Toilet Dice. Thank you. That is amazing, Toilet Dice. Ask us any question you want, but I will assume that is you giving me all the luck in the world to go to battle tomorrow to hopefully just like do.
I will send you all of my luck. How is that?
All right, I would
appreciate
that.
And if anyone has seen my dice rolling, that is some significant luck being.
Okay, good. I've got Makari's favor here. Right, wonderful. That's
I am like I said, I think I've got an in-person game coming this weekend, so I'm excited for that. I gotta get at least the 3 tracks and the 1 beast boss done to have all the models to put on the table. So I think I can do it in the next few days. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to have Nicky D back next week. So that I don't mess this up in the future.
We apologize for any technical difficulties on this particular episode, but I think it worked out okay.
Well, Toilet Dice, man, thanks for the support. He shouts out the Battle to End Alzheimer's as well. So yeah, go up there and give those guys some love. Definitely a worthy cause. So, and I always love seeing charity events, Kicker. Those are always, we all, if you're in 40K, you got some disposable income. So it's always nice to see that disposable income head towards a good cause. Even Seth, if that cause is pieing JC in the face.
This community is just so freaking amazing. I mean, like, it's just people help us unload trucks. People help give to, amazing charities like what JC's doing. It's just, I'm always blown away with this community, always going above and beyond. So yeah, if you can make it out to the event on the East Coast, please do. And maybe that's something we should do. Tell us in chat, hit us up with a message. If you've got an event that's doing something good for the greater world, tell us and we'll make sure we do a shout out.
That was almost a greater good comment.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh geez,
that up.
I'm almost becoming Tao. No, step away quickly. No, but seriously, guys, hit us up on Facebook or send us an email if you've got an event that's got a charity behind it or something that you guys are trying to do. Let us help promote it as best as we can from the Frontline Gaming angle. So thank you guys.
Well, we thank you so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday when I am relieved by the fabulous Nicky D. Williams himself.
Good night, guys.
Good night.